franktalks.com.
This is an exclusive excerpt from the Stuph File program with Peter Anthony Holder.
Relationship coach Frank Kermit is a best-selling author, educator, and relationship columnist. He also has a website called friendstoloversformula.com. And Frank has been on the program before talking about relationships. This time around, we're talking about bad relationships being used as humor to sell products. Frank joins us on the line right now via Skype-to-Skype communications. Hi, Frank.
How are you, Mr. Holder?
Just tickety-boo. Nice to have you back on the program with us once again.
Always great to be back, Peter.
I wanted to have you on to talk about holiday relationships, which we'll get to if we have some time, but also this idea of using humor to sell products and showing bad relationships to do it. And one of the things that comes to mind right now, I don't know how many in our audience have had a chance to see a Nissan commercial where a guy is buying, I guess, ice cream. It's not quite sure for his date or for his wife. And he sees a Nissan Sentra across the street, admires the car. When the woman in his car, looks at the vehicle, all she sees is the woman, the very sexy woman, getting out of the car, thinks he's looking at her, and locks the doors.
Yep, she locks the door. She rolls up the window. She basically says, well, if you're going to look at another girl, when the point of the car commercial was he was looking at the car, well, I'm just not going to let you back into the car, even though you just went and bought me some ice cream.
Yes, and clearly it's his car.
Yeah, he's the driver, and I get the joke. Okay, I get the joke. But as a relationship coach, I have to be mindful that a joke isn't always just a joke. The way I teach it when it comes to absorbing any form of media, entertainment for one person can be education for another. This might teach a number of women out there who are watching it, especially if they're young and experienced with relationships, that that kind of behavior is acceptable. It's also teaching men out there that that kind of behavior may be acceptable because, well, it happened to somebody else and they were okay with it, when in reality, you don't treat your partner that way. First of all, you find out. She didn't give him a chance to explain. No, I was looking at the car, not the girl. She jumped to a conclusion and immediately shut him out. Well, if you're looking to get divorced, that's a pretty good behavior pattern to adopt.
Yes, I guess it is. So I guess what you're saying is that there is, when it comes to advertising and using relationships, and in most cases when you're advertising, you're using bad relationships. Where is the line? Is there a line?
Sure. There one clear line is violence. There was a KFC commercial where they were trying to sell their spicy chicken bits. And it was some guy was walking in, he was eating his chicken, walks into a house party, it looks like, sees a very attractive girl, they make eye contact, he goes up to her, introduces himself, offers her a piece of chicken, she eats the piece of chicken, and when he says, how is it? She makes this face of, oh my, wow, because it's supposedly very, very spicy.
Right.
Her reaction is to slap him.
I've seen that ad, yes.
And as she's walking away, she runs back, eats another piece of chicken, and grabs the chicken and leaves. And he's standing there completely befuddled as to what just happened. Now, let's look at what's happened in this commercial. Yeah, it's a great joke. Wow, she got the chicken. She was completely the entire selling line of that commercial. The chicken is so spicy, it's like a slap in the face. What you're doing right here is you're condoning violence. You're saying that just because I have a reaction to something, I can get violence. There's no repercussion for the woman. She steals his food. He approaches her, she steals his food, and the commercial leaves it off as, well, he's not going to do anything about it, so this is okay. This is not okay. When commercials go a bit too far and they condone this type of behavior, it encourages anybody who's watching it to repeat that same type of behavior, that same type of recklessness, that same type of, I'm entitled to whatever I want, and if I don't get it, too bad, and I'll get violent, and there's nothing you can do about it.
You're
and this is just not helpful.
Yeah, you look at things, of course, because you're a relationship coach, and you look at it from a relationship situation. Looking at it from the broader picture, I'm thinking that part of the problem here, because we're both seeing the problem with the issue, but looking at it in the broader picture, we now live in a world that is so politically correct. I think to a point, too politically correct. And when it comes to humor, people don't have an opportunity to let off some steam for fear of offending anyone. And as a result, we have now, and I'm not saying it's right to make fun of women or minorities or weight or all these other things, but because we are so politically correct, we have now honed down onto one topic: the white male.
Yes.
He is fair game for everything. And that's what we are now seeing in commercials and certainly in relationship ads.
If you want to come up with a way where you can enjoy humor but not cross a line, you simply do what's called the Wendy Maltz test. You reverse the gender in any of these commercials. And if you can find one combination that makes you hold back and say, whoa, no, that's not funny, that's not cool, that's how you know that there's a problem with the premise.
Good point.
So let's take the two commercials we've described right now, the Nissan commercial and the KFC commercial. Let's reverse the genders. What if it was the man who was locking the woman out of a car? How would people feel about that? Most people would be thinking, hey, she's not safe out there. What's he going to do? Abandon her on the street? What kind of a jerk is that? The KFC commercial, even because of the slap, let's reverse the genders there. How many people would be laughing if it was a man slapping a woman and stealing her chicken?
Right.
And it's, if it doesn't match up, if it doesn't pass when you reverse the genders in even one of those combinations, then it shouldn't pass at all. Now, but you are right. Political correctness may have gone too far. However, as a relationship coach, you do need to understand that my perspective is I see the worst of the worst. I have people coming into my office that literally are in horrible situations. They're facing a divorce. They're going through the court systems. They're about to lose a 20-year marriage because they just don't realize what it is they've done to turn their partner off or turn their partner away. I have people who are young people who are struggling to get into serious relationships. And the one thing they all have in common is they don't know any better. There was never anyone to educate them about how to conduct themselves when dating, how to conduct themselves in relationships, things that should have been passed on from generation to generation. The social norms have all been removed. These people are blind. These people just don't know any better when it comes to relationships, and that's what I'm seeing in my practice. So when I see commercials like that, it really rubs me the wrong way, because I actually know people that wouldn't be able to think, well, that's funny because it's unacceptable. Not, well, that's funny because that's happened to me.
And therein lies the situation. Part of the problem is people don't seem to understand what humor is. That humor is not necessarily reality.
Exactly. At one time, somebody is walking the street and slips on a banana peel. I remember the Three Stooges. I loved the Three Stooges. Abbott and Costello, classic humor. Well, there's a lot of things that happened in those television shows and those old movies. People getting slapped around, people falling off cliffs, and so on. But it's slapstick comedy. You know that in real life, people wouldn't have survived those things. People wouldn't tolerate getting slapped around that much. And that's part of what made it funny. When people don't realize what the humor is supposed to be, they'll interpret their own idea as to why it's supposed to be funny.
We have just about a minute, so I do want to get to this, and that is you have a website called friendstoloversformula.com. What can people find when they go there?
Well, I'm actually giving away one of my best-selling books. I'm giving it away for free. I have now it's an ebook, From Friends to Lovers, Stop Being Her Emotional Cookie Man. It's about nice guys who struggle to connect with women, who struggle to attract with women, and it teaches them how to be more assertive, how to be more alpha, how to be more masculine so that they can actually attract a girl that they've been friends with forever and they've been madly in love with forever, but the girl says, but I just see you as a friend. And I'm going to be giving away that ebook on that website from Friends to Lovers Formula, friendstoloversformula.com.
Oh, wow. I think every guy has heard that. I just want to be friends.
No. And you have to wonder why, thinking, look, I'm a nice guy. I treat her well. I listen to her problems. I buy her gifts. When she needs somebody there to help her move, when she needs somebody there to get her out of a crisis, I'm the guy who does it. So why doesn't she date me? And I go through the process to say, well, sometimes as a friend, you address a certain group of emotional needs that that are only going to keep you a friend, and you end up violating the other emotional needs that stop you from becoming her lover.
Excellent stuff. Just one quick question, getting back to commercials. Do you recommend that couples sit down and discuss these commercials?
I think that when a commercial like this comes on, if it's bothering one of the two people in the couple, they should mention it, not because it's of the commercial itself, but to see what the person's values are. These commercials are great for one thing, and that is if I'm watching that commercial with somebody and I can say, I don't like that commercial and here's why, I'm expressing the things that I value. And if somebody else doesn't at least understand what it is I value, that's a sign whether or not you're compatible with the person you're with.
Excellent stuff. Frank, always a treat to have you on the program. Again, the website, friendstoloversformula.com. Thanks for being on the program with us once again.
Thank you, sir, and I look forward to being on in the future.
Relationship coach Frank Kermit. You can check out his website at friendstoloversformula.com. And you can go to my website at thestufffile.com, go to the What's On page for this show, which is show number 0222, and you'll find the link to his site.
You've just heard an exclusive excerpt from the Stuph File program with Peter Anthony Holder. To hear any or all of the full hour-long shows, visit thestufffile.com. Stuff is spelled S-T-U-P-H. That's thestufffile.com. A presentation of Flying Fish Communications.
Need help with love, sex, dating, and relationships? Visit franktalks.com.
If you need help with your relationships, my buddy Frank, he's got some tips. Just go to franktalks.com. His advice is better than your mom's. He knows what you're going through, 'cause Frank has been there too. So log on to franktalks.com. franktalks.com.
Need help with love, sex, dating, and relationship issues? Help from Frank Kermit, the best-selling author and Canada's most international relationship coach, is only a click away at franktalks.com. Coaching available in person, by phone, and by Skype. For singles, couples, and alternative lifestyles, franktalks.com.